So what we've noticed is, as you're depressed or disempowered and you reach for an angry thought, you might not have even reached very hard for it. It came easily to you. And you felt the relief of it. If you can stop in that relief and say, this is an improvement. I have deliberately made improvement. Now you'll stabilize in that different vibration, and now you have access to an even less angry thought. So now if you reach for an even less angry thought, you'll feel the relief of that less angry thought. And as you stabilize there and continue your mantra of, I'm going to continue to make the best of where I am, I'm going to continue to reach for the best feeling thought, you might find an outrageously frustrating thought, which is relief from that angry thought. And as you stabilize, as you take the time to stop and pat yourself on the back and say, I am feeling better, I'm feeling better. I feel so much better than the depression that I had 2 days ago. And I feel even better than the anger that I wallowed around in all day yesterday. And this feeling of frustration is a big improvement over where I've been. Now you continue your steady progress until from frustration you can go to mild aggravation. And from mild aggravation you can go to a sensation of slight hopefulness. And from slight hopefulness you can go to a vibration of, well, maybe it could possibly be. And from that vibration you could go to a feeling of maybe expecting or maybe even recognizing how many good things are happening for you, into a feeling of belief that it really is going to get better, into a feeling of knowing that you are in charge of your life experience. And that's a long way from that suffocating grief that you were in only 2 or 3 days ago. But the point that we're making to you is, you cannot be guided from the outside in. Some bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, lollipop, sunshine and roses Abraham person cannot know how far you've come, because they weren't there with you vibrationally. They were on the outside of your vibrational meter, and while they mean well, they don't know. Didn't that feel good? Sometimes, friends, in this wildly exaggerated, contrastive, comparative, co-creative experience in which you are all focused, there are things that are happening around you that you do not want to happen. People you love die. People starve in parts of the world. Your dear cat gets run over. All kinds of things that you would not choose if you felt you had every choice to make happen around you within your view of seeing them. And you cannot put your head in the sand. You cannot isolate yourself to some place where you are unaware. You want to be in the world. You want to use it as the creative platform. And so in order to survive in joy, you've got to find a way to be in charge of how you feel. You've got to show yourself that even with all of this happening, that you can focus in a way that makes you feel terrible, or you can focus in a way that makes you feel less terrible. And if you focus in a way that makes you feel less terrible, then you can focus in a way that makes you feel less terrible. And if you can focus in a way that makes you feel less terrible, you can focus in a way that makes you feel less terrible. Until before you know it, you don't feel so terrible. You even start to feel a little good. You even start to feel often good, really good, exaltedly good, irrationally good by the standards of those who are around you. You can train yourself into a vibration of such perfection that law of attraction will match you up only with those things that are a vibrational match to who you are. But you got to start somewhere. And most importantly, you must stop beating up on yourself for wherever you are, because wherever you are is just fine. It's only a temporary place and you can move from it. You've got to stop saying what I'm doing is inappropriate. You've got to stop beating up on yourself and feeling embarrassment about not having enough money, or about being too fat, or about not being able to control your bodily functions. You've got to stop beating up on yourself about where you are and start appreciating what is going well about where you are. If your new mantra is, I'm going to start beating the drum that feels better. I'm going to start making the best of things, making the best of things, making the best of things. Sometimes you make the worst of things, and you do it on purpose. And do you know why you do it? You make the worst of it because you don't like where you are, and you're complaining about where you are, and other people are seeing you where you are, and you think that you should explain how you got to where you are. So you keep making an exaggerated worst of things in order to explain why you're not in a better place. And we say, don't do that. Because when you make the worst of it, instead of moving from not feeling so good into a better and better and better and better and better feeling place, when you're making the worst of it, you're moving into a worse place. So something happens, you observe it, you take the hit, it doesn't feel good, and then you are embarrassed because you have negative emotion. Do you feel embarrassment when your gas tank indicator tells you that you're on empty? Or do you just go get some more gas? You don't condemn your indicator for telling you that you need more fuel. And we want you to stop condemning your indicator that's telling you you need more connection to source energy. In other words, that's all it's telling you. Something you're focused on right now is not a vibrational match to who you really are. You might want to fill up with some better feeling thoughts so that you are more of a match to who you really are. So when you are realizing that your emotions are your friend, your emotions are letting you know what you are doing vibrationally. Your emotion is letting you know how full of who you really are you are, or how much you are pinching off who you really are. You know what negative emotion is? Negative emotion is how you feel when you've chosen a thought that your inner being doesn't agree with. If your inner being is in agreement with your thought, your inner being joins you fully and you feel full. You feel radiant, you feel clear-minded, you feel vibrant, you feel energy, you feel joyous, you feel passion, you feel love, you feel appreciation. When you are choosing a thought that your inner being and all that is source joins you in, you feel fabulous. But when you choose a thought that is you out here on your screwy leading edge, choosing something that is absolutely incomprehensible in terms of what source knows to be. Things like, I'm bad, or I'm unworthy, or I'm not blessed. Things like, I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough. Things like, I should have done something differently, and now because I have done something differently, now I'm in a condemned, unblessed place. When you choose those thoughts and you beat the drum of them, you just hold yourself out there in the darkness for a while. Not because light is not shining all over you, it is, but you put up your big umbrella shade and you're just keeping yourself separated from the source that is really you, from the source that is always beaming to you, from the source that is always available to you. Now, what you're hearing from us here today is we want you to stop beating up on yourself when you get yourself in that predicament, because it's only temporary. We want you to then stop in the middle of all of this and say, what's the best feeling thought that I can find? And when you stumble upon the angry thought that felt better than the thought of depression or grief that you had before, then hold your ground by saying, this is an improvement and I have done well. When you feel your progress, when you take that first step, then you can take the second, and then the third, and then the fourth. And then you come to realize that it's an infinite, always stepping. As you are traveling from San Diego to Phoenix, down Interstate 8, beautiful drive across the desert. About halfway is Yuma. Not much to do there. No great restaurants. It's never the place Jerry and Esther decide to stay. But they pass through Yuma every time on their way. When they get to Yuma, they don't belittle themselves for not being in Phoenix. They accept that it's part of the journey. So when you are in your angry place, don't belittle yourself for not being in your joy, because it's just part of the journey. Instead, accept it as part of the journey. Take charge of the journey. In other words, can you imagine somebody finding themselves in Yuma and just collapsing? I wanted to be in Phoenix, and here I am in Yuma. I'm a failure. People call you on your cell phone. Are you in Phoenix? No. I'm in Yuma. Oh, I'm so sorry for you, they say. I know how much you wanted to be in Phoenix. You don't panic and just keep driving back and forth between San Diego and Yuma. You accept that you're partway there. And you don't beat up on yourself for being partway there. You accept that you're partway there, and you take pride in the journey that you've made already. And you take solace in the fact that if you've come this far, you can go further. You are in charge of the thoughts that you think, and you are in the charge of the way you feel. And once you discover that, once you say, I'm in charge, once you're mad on purpose, once you have convinced yourself that you've chosen the thought of anger, then you know that you can choose the thought of frustration. And oh, what a lovely thought that will be. You can choose the thought of overwhelmment, and oh, what a lovely thought that would be in relationship to those other thoughts that you've thought along the way. We want you to take control of your thinking, and we want you to stop beating up on yourself about where you are at any point in time. And we want you to never lose sight of your goal, which is what? To reach for a thought that feels better. In other words, we want you to stop saying, just for a little while, my goal is ecstasy, or my goal is winning the lottery. Those long jumps that are far from where you are don't serve you as well. My goal is I'm going to feel a little better than I feel right now, and I'm going to stabilize there and pat myself on the back, and then I'm going to keep reaching, and I'm going to reach again, and then I'm going to reach again, and then I'm going to reach again. And when you think about it logically, you have to understand that no matter where I am, no matter how sick or how poor or how in the darkness I am, if it is my intent to reach for a thought that feels better, I'm going to find it. And if it's still my intent to reach for a thought that feels better, I'm going to find it. And if it is still my intent to reach for a thought that feels better, I'm going to find it. And I'm not going to get stuck in Yuma. If I still reach for a thought that feels better, I'm going to find it. And can't you see that you have to get out into the light where the well-being is, where the dollars are, where the friends are, where the good relationships are, where the universe is yielding to you? You have to get there. It can be no other way. It is law. We are done. There is nothing more that we could ever give you that would be of any value to you. If your grandmother taught you to look for the silver lining, to focus upon things to appreciate, then she gave you the secret to life. We just want you to hear that when someone says to you, find something to appreciate, when you are in depression, you often cannot hear and you don't know what to do. So we're saying, find something or someone to be lividly angry at. And then find someone who is truly annoying and give them your undivided attention. And then find someone who irritates the life out of you. And then find someone or something that is mildly frustrating. And then find something that piques your interest. And then find something that you want to believe in. And then find something that is easy to believe in. And then beat the drum of that until you know without any question that you are the creator of your own experience. And you'll discover in all of this anger, in all of this frustration, in all of this overwhelmment, you're going to discover something wonderful. You're in charge. You're in charge. Circumstances don't have you by the hair. The world is not dragging you around. The economy is not in charge of you. Someone else who seems to have power is not calling the shots for you. You are the achiever of your point of attraction. And with far less effort than you have thought, you can put yourself vibrationally anywhere you choose to be. And the glorious universe that supports you will show you evidence of where you are every step along the way. And in all of this, you begin to find humor. We've seen some people who have been practicing this already, who in the middle of what was rage begin to laugh as they realize how funny it is, how far they've come, how fast they've come. Sometimes you don't have very far to go to get feeling how you want to feel, but only you know. Nobody else can set the standards, and you were born with a guidance system to help you be in charge of your journey. And that really is the empowering message that we are wanting to remind you of. I want to remind you that it's your life, that you're in charge, and how you feel is everything. One thing, the only thing that is really important for you to decide, and there is such power in decision. Nothing is more important than I feel good. But we're going to modify that to say, nothing is more important than that I feel as good as I am capable of feeling. Nothing is more important than that I reach for a better feeling thought. Nothing is more important than that I be aware of how I feel, and that I want to feel good, and that I am willing to reach for a better feeling thought, and that I'm not ever again going to beat up on myself for not being able to get to the goodest, to the goodest, to the goodest, to the goodest, to the goodest of all thoughts. I'll take the goodest thought that I can find, and I'll pat myself on the back, and I'll keep reaching. Good.